Rhinox has a butt now. Hallelujah. Hey guys, this is AwesomeJohn22 coming at you today with another review, our Sunday review. That is going to be our schedule for a while. We are going to be doing reviews on Sundays and Thursdays, I think I decided on. That may be wrong. I may have to correct myself later, but we'll see. Today we are looking at Rhinox, the Voyager class Rhinox from the New Generations line, meant to be an upgrade slash replacement slash first time addition to people's collections, depending on how active a collector they were during the Beast Wars era. And Beast Wars being one of the best Transformers series, I will stand by that until the day I die, definitely deserves these new generation of figures. The question is, how good are they? And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today with Rhinox, and in my next review with Deluxe Class Waspinator, who I will bring in now as a size comparison, kind of give you an idea how Rhinox stacks up next to a fairly standard size Deluxe. And just taking a look at Rhinox, we can see he looks very good. Looks very good. But sometimes looks can be deceiving. So now let's get this review going properly by getting Rhinox transformed through the magic of jump cuts. And here we have Rhinox in his beast mode, and he looks pretty freaking cool. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to show you just how big this guy is. Here he is with Waspinator, a fellow beast former, and a standard deluxe size, maybe even a little bit bigger than some of the new deluxes we've been getting, actually. And here he is next to a standard size Voyager from the most recent lines. And as you can see, he's spot on Voyager size. I mean, he's a Voyager figure. And he stacks up quite nicely in beast mode next to a deluxe, which I find rather impressive. I realize I haven't been zooming in on details a whole lot lately and lingering on them, but on this guy I can't help it. Just as in the original Beast Wars line, and in the series to an extent, we do see robot mode kibble on the beast mode here and there. And for the most part, this guy looks like a rhinoceros. He's very, very well designed to look like what he is supposed to look like. You can see fantastic texturing on the molded skin. You've got bumps and wrinkles, pretty obvious panel lines, but not too bad. Nothing any worse than what we got on the original Beast line. He is a hard plastic in most places, though areas like his butt here, which he has a butt and a tail, which is something the original Rhinox did not. They are soft plastic, as well as the horn, of course, and the ears. You can see some fantastic detail on his feet there. His little elbow knee things. And his eyes look pretty good. And just an absolutely beautiful figure. The only complaint I have about this figure in this mode is that I would have liked a more, I don't know, coppery brown maybe, rather than this pale brown. It doesn't necessarily look bad, but I think it could have looked better. And that's really all he does in this mode. I mean, he's a beast former. He looks like a beast and he stands. His feet move, or legs rather, move a little bit. The back legs kind of do too, though it breaks the transformation a bit. But really that's, oh, and his mouth opens. Though the hinge is in a place where it doesn't look like it should open, really. Considering that's a transformation hinge and not an actual jaw hinge. But yeah, that's pretty much all he does. But he looks good. I mean, he looks like Rhinox for the most part. And that's really all he has to do, so he does his job pretty well. It's at this point that I would like to compare this guy to the original Rhinox, but I don't have the original Rhinox anymore. Once we get to Waspinator, I will talk about how I have never had a Waspinator figure ever. Just never found one. But I did have a Rhinox. for a while, and I have no idea what happened to it. It's been a few years now, and he's just not turning up. So, like I said, while I'd like to compare the two figures, it's just not going to happen today. So instead we're going to get right into the transformation. And fair warning, guys, this can be a little tricky. We're actually going to start the transformation with these panels here on the sides. They just unclip from these tabs here on both sides. I'll show you from the other side here now too. And then fold. And it's not going to do it now. Fold out. You have to be careful because they do kind of clip around this panel here, so you have to kind of get them up and around like so. And that will allow you to remove this piece here, which will be his weapons. Now you can see he has this big hollow tummy section. That's pretty much where all of his stuff is going to go, turning into a robot, if that makes any sense. Next we're going to come... Actually, next let's go ahead and do his legs, because I don't want to end up putting something in the way. So let's do his legs, his back legs specifically. They just untab like so from the back and from this rear portion. And then actually the rear portion is going to come up a little bit out of the way on a accordion hinge underneath. And you are going to take, I'm going to have to zoom in to show this, and hope it shows. I'll bring this back. You can see, if I can get it in frame, a brown and green panel here, or a section here that kind of rotates. You're going to rotate this down and just kind of leave it here for now. Bring this other, no, didn't even show you that. Bring this other leg panel down and then rotate all of this around. And that's where we're going to leave the legs for now. Let's just leave it at that. I did mention this guy's complicated, right? Coming up here, we're going to pop the front legs down like so, and then rotate them so that we can get at these bits here and fold out his hands. One on each side, of course, 2 hands per robot. And we're going to bring these down like so, lower them into place, and fold this down a bit, fold this down. You can see now his head is revealed up there underneath the mouth, so kind of bring it down. What we're going to do is we're going to lower all of this into place like so. Coming to the back here, we are going to fold these panels in like so, kind of like that, under the arms, and then take this whole section, fold it back over the butt. You can see where this is going now. These panels here, and they're not going to want to work for me because they're a pain. You can see they have these little rotation joints here. They will rotate and fit around the lower jaw of the beast mode, making his chest. Down here, I'm going to take these panels. Well, first we're going to take his toes and fold out his toes. Then we're going to take these large panels and fold them down to make his lower legs, like so. And that's pretty much Rhinox in his robot mode. And I say pretty much because we're really supposed to do more with this little section in here that his hips are sitting on. But really, that section is going to give us the most trouble of probably any piece on any Transformer ever. So really it's best to do as I'm doing right now and just find the position where it sits the best for you on your particular figure. And you can see where the trouble is, guys, because even zoomed in like that, I'm sure you can tell that I had a lot of trouble getting that guy to stand just now. Now, I want to go ahead and apologize for the slappiness of that transformation sequence, but I actually think it's going to help me get my point across here. Because while you can see this guy in robot mode as well, is a fantastic looking figure. Zooming in for a minute, you can see all this great gold paint on the figure, on the chest, moving up onto the head. And if we can zoom in close enough, you can see it's not going to work because my camera hates me. You can see little tiny maximal symbols. There we go. Actually on his head. Great detail everywhere. The beast mode details carry over. And we get some cool new robot details as well. Great molding, great painting. But this guy is a pain to transform. And he's even more of a pain to get to stand up because the hip, the section that holds the hips into place, the section that I pointed out a few times during the transformation, is terrible. It's loose and it doesn't want to stay in place. And despite that, though, I mean, he does look very, very good, which is the only reason that I haven't just kind of thrown this figure out the window and told you not to get it yet. In terms of articulation, it's pretty decent. Full 360 at the shoulders, up and down at the shoulder, and about 90 degrees at the elbow. And kind of wrist movement, but it's for the transformation. Head is on a double swivel joint, so it turns and then swivels up and down as well, mimicking a ball joint. Hips, like I said, the section holding the hips into place is loose. The hips themselves, though, and see, there it goes, popped right out. Give pretty good range of motion, and it does have a decent knee bend, but you're not going to be posing the legs at all, I promise you that. You're going to get them into that one position where he stands, and then you're never going to move them again, ever, because that's really the nature of this figure. And already, just moving that one leg a few times, I had to do all that work to get him to stand again. It's very, very frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, he does have his weapons. They are both identical. And they both spin, and they have the little Gatling gun barrel things like they do in the show. And he can, of course, hold them in his hands, and I'm trying to do this without knocking the figure over. And quite frankly, holding the weapons in his hands adds a little bit of forward weight, so you can get him in better poses, which is kind of nice. And he looks pretty freaking badass holding them. But of course, putting them in his hands, now he's starting to fall over again. Look at that. Just, it doesn't fail. Well, I mean, it does fail, but the fact that it fails doesn't fail. Still, he looks very, very good. He looks very, very dynamic. And personally, I think this pose looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like Rhinox from the show, and I can't imagine a better looking version of Rhinox on my shelf. That does not excuse, however, the fact that that hip segment is just so loose, and no matter how I fiddle with it, I can't find a satisfactory place for it to sit. You can fold it up almost all the way back into place for beast mode, but then he's really short and his legs are too high up in his torso. You can leave it down, but then it flops around. It doesn't stay in place. That, combined with how fiddly this transformation is, and you didn't even see the half of it, because I don't do reverse transformations on my review show. Let's just say transforming back to beast mode is twice as fiddly, and leave it at that. As fiddly as this transformation is, I do not recommend this figure for kids. However, if you are a collector and you want to add Rhinox to your collection because you never had him, or you lost your figure like I did mine, or you just simply want to upgrade to a more advanced figure, that is a bit more show accurate, though he's still not entirely show accurate. There are other reviews that do a better job showing that off, so, you know, check one of those out if you're curious. Then pick this guy up. He's good for collectors. I will go ahead and say that right off the bat. The green looks really cool. The gold paint looks really cool. While I still would like the brown to be a little bit richer, I will admit it is a better contrast to the green in robot mode than a darker brown probably would have been. In terms of looks, this guy is fantastic. In terms of pretty much everything else, he's only average at best. So, despite the fact that I absolutely love Rhinox, I absolutely love the concept of this figure, I'm going to have to give this figure a stamp of not recommended. And it actually hurts me to say that. But either way, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. In the description down below, you will find links to a bunch of the other things I'm working on right now, including a link to my collections video. Check that out, and if you see anything in it that you would like me to review, let me know and I will see what I can do. This has been AwesomeJohn22, and I will talk to you guys later.